This video, we're going to talk about averages. Suppose you're a student in a class and you get these scores: 85, 89, 96, and 86. And when I was a student, this is how I would calculate my average. I would guess. I would say, you know what, that looks like a 90 to me. So this is 6 above 90. I can add 5 of those 6 there, and I can add 1 here. So I balanced it out. Let me write 90 here. I took away 6 from the 96, and I added 5 to this grade and 1 to that grade. Problem is I don't have anything extra at this point. In fact, I'm a little bit short. So my guess was off. I'll borrow 1 from here, another one. So I borrowed 3. And when I add it to the 86, I get 89. So that's my average. All my scores are 89. Another way of doing it is you can add up the scores and then divide by the number of scores. If you add these up, 15 plus 5 is 20, plus 6 more is 26. Now, we have a lot of 8s going around. 1, 2, 3. I'm even going to call that 8. That's 8 plus 1. So I'll add the 1 in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4 8s. That's 32. Plus the extra 1 is 33. Plus 2 more is 35. How you do arithmetic, that's up to you. Divide by 4. 4 goes into 35 8 times. That's 32 from 35, which is 3 left over. 4 into 36 goes 9 times. Exactly the same answer I got using the other method. Suppose you had these 3 grades and you want to figure out the average. Well, to me, looks like an 83. I can be wrong. You can borrow 1 from here because it's 1 more than 83. And you could loan it to this score. And let's see. This has 4 extra. Let's take it away. And let's add it to 79. Oh, look at that. That gives me 83. I have an 83 average, just like I guessed. I was lucky. Now, suppose you want a 80 average. Let's make that 90. You want to do very well. You want a 90 average. Not a point below 90, not a point above 90, exactly 90. Well, you have an 86 and you have an 85. And you have one more exam. I don't know if I said that. You have one more exam. Well, one way of doing this is the same way. You can borrow 4 from here because this one needs 4 to be 90. And you can borrow 1 from here and donate it to the next test. So whatever I put in there plus the 1 should be 90. So it seems like I need an 89 on that last test. Another way of doing it is if you want a 90 on each test, and there's 3 tests in total, you need 270 points. Well, right now you have an 86 and a 95 and an unknown score. Well, and you wanted to add up to 270. Well, if this is 6 and this and you add 5, that's 9. To end in a 0, let me try that again. 6 plus 5 is 11, and you want it to end in a 0. Well, 11 plus 9 is 20, which ends in a 0. Now you have 8, 10, 19. But you want 27. 19 plus 8 is 27. So that's the score you need on the other exam, which is what we calculated using the other method. Now, we know you need 270 points. So this is the third way. You add them up, you get, I guess, 181. But you want 270, and you only have 181. So if you subtract, you'll find out how much you need. And you need 89, just like we've been saying. Let's try some more. Suppose you want a 60 average. Maybe you're not doing so hot in the class, you just want to pass. So you got 52 and then a 62, maybe a 59 and a 66 and a 70. Question is, what do you need in the next exam? Well, you can borrow 2 points from the 62, making the 62 or 60, and donate it to the 52. You can borrow 6 points from the 66 and donate it to the 54 to make it a 60. You can borrow 10 points from here, excuse me. You can borrow 1 point from here to add here to get a 60. Now, all of them are 60 except this one. You can borrow 9 points and donate it to the next exam. So in the next exam, you only need a 51, because when you add that 9 to it, it gives you this 60 average. That's one way of doing it. The other way is how many points you need in all. Well, you took one test, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and you have one more coming up. You need to have a total of 360 points. Right now, you have a 52 or 62, a 59, a 66 or 70, and an unknown score. But you want to have 360. Okay, 6, 8, 10, 10, 16. Well, if you add 4, you'll get 20. Let's try that again. I apologize. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, plus 0 is still 10, plus 9 is 19. Well, what do you add to 19 to end in a 0? The answer is you add 1. That gives you 20. Carry the 2, bring down the 0. Now you have 11 and another 11, that's 22. Plus 7 is 29. Plus 2 is 31. But you want 36. Oh, 31 plus 5 is 36. So, there it is. The other way is you can just add up the scores that you received. This is how probably most people will do this. 15, 17, 19, 6, 12, 18, 23, 30. So you want 360, but you don't quite have that yet. You are 51 points shy. Well, that's what you better get on this next exam. We'll try another one like this. Suppose now you want a 70 average, and you received the 52, the 62, 67, let's make this. Actually, let's try over, please. 64, 65, 67, 63, 68, and an unknown. So you want a 70 average. So let's see. So we think 70, but here we're shy 6. Here we're shy 5 and 3 and 7 and 2. So 6, 11, 14, 16, 23 points. You're going to have to get a 93 on the next test to have a 70 average. Why? Because if you take 23 away from here, you'll have 70. And if you add 2 here, you'll have 70. And if you add 7 here, you'll have 70. And if you add 3 here, you'll have 70. And if you add 5 there, you'll have 70. And if you add 6 here, you'll have 70. But what you added, 6 and 5 and 3 and 7 and 2, that was exactly how much over you got than 70. Okay, that is one way of doing it. The other way is you can add up the scores. 67, 63, 68, plus an unknown. I make it bigger because maybe it's a 3-digit. Maybe you have to get over 100. Now, if you have a 70 average and on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exams, your total better be 420. Okay. 7, 10, 15, 23, 27. 27 plus 3 ends in a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 30, 32. Let us try this arithmetic again. I'm sorry. Eight and 7 are 15, and 5 is 20, and then 24, 27. If you want it to end in a 0, you have to add 3. So that adds up to 30. So again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 30. 5 6s are 30, plus 3 more is 33. Well, if you add 9 to 33, you get 42. So, like we said earlier, you have to get a 93. The other way is you can add up the scores. 64, 65, 67, 63, 68, 10, 15, 23, 27, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6s are 30, plus the 2 is 32. This is how many points you have now. But it's not enough. You need 420. So how many more points you need? 3, 9. Oh, you need 93 more points. Exactly what we concluded. There's not just, there's not just one way of doing these type problems. That's what I'm trying to make a point about. Do things the way you like, not the way you're taught to do. You may not like that way. Suppose you want a 90 average, and you have an 86, a 95, and the next and last exam coming up, and you want 90. Well, you can borrow 4 from here to add to that. So you still have 1 left over. You can loan it to this one. So now you only need an 89, because when you get that loan point, it's a 90. Okay, this is one way of doing it, nice and quick. The other way is, well, if you want a 90 on 3 exams, your total best be 270. So you have an 86 plus an 95 plus an unknown grade, and you want that to add up to 270. Well, 6 plus 5 is 11. Add 9 to get that 0, but that adds up to 20. 2 and 8 are 10, plus 9 is 19. Add 8 more to get to 27. So that's the score you need on the last exam, just like we said. Or you can add up the scores you have so far. So it adds up to 191, and we know you need 270 points. Well, if you do this subtraction, borrow, 16 minus 8 is 8. Once again, you need an 89. It has to be that way. Now, let's do one more. And this is a real life problem. Suppose you want to get an A. You want to earn an A in your math class. You need at least a 90 average to receive an A. Okay, so if you get a 90 average or above, you received an A. You have one exam left. You have one exam left, and so far your grades were 100, 100, 100, a 400, 5 of them, 6 of them, 7 of them, 8 of them, 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you have this last grade. The question is, what do you need on the last grade to have a 90? Well, you can borrow 10 from here, and you can borrow 10 from here, and you can borrow 10 from here, and another 10, 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 and another 10. So you borrow 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So you already have 90 points to donate to this last grade. You can get a 0. Okay? What that means is, I'm not trying to tell you not to study for this test, but if you have other classes to study for, and all you care about is your grades, I would study for other classes, because you are guaranteed the A. I mean, come on. If you get a 0, you get an A. So, if your time is limited, study for other classes. Your average may go from a 78 to an 82. So you go from a C to a B. Or maybe from an F to a D, which is the passing grade. Or, I don't know, C minus to C plus, or B minus to B plus, A to B. Okay, so before you go into the last exam, you should work this out. And maybe you didn't get all hundreds. Maybe you would have only needed a 20. And with all those good grades, because you only need 20, I guess that means you have like a 98 average. You'll probably get the 20 without studying and earn the A. Okay. But as always, let's do it the other ways. So one way of doing it is you have 10 exams and you want to get at least a 90 average. So you need 900 points. Well, you have 100, 100, 100. I'm not going to write them down 9 times, but make believe there's 9. So you already have the 900 points. You already have the 900 points. So you need 900 points. You have 900 points, so you need a 0 on the next test. The other way that I've been showing you is you write down the exams, let's say 9 of them, and then what do you need for the last one for a total of 900? Well, 0 plus 0 plus 0 9 times is 0, so you get to add 0 to get 0, carry over nothing. 0 plus 0 plus 0 9 times is 0, and you want 0, so you can add nothing. And 1 plus 1 plus 1 9 times is 9, so you don't have to add anything. This is 0. That's the score you need on the last exam. Exactly what we've been saying. Forget about the 20. That was what if. So, if you need an extremely low score to get the grade that you want, you don't need to study for that exam, that last exam. Invest your time in your study time into your other classes. Again, I'm not telling you not to study. So for example, if you just taken one course and you got 100 on every exam, and even if you get a 0 on the next exam, you get an A, you should study. You should study. I'm not going to tell you not to study. But if you didn't, you'd still get the A. It's not going to affect your grade, whether you study or not. You study to learn. That finishes their video on averages.